So these animations are things that I made for my friend Charissa Galbraith. And the purpose of them is she is someone who has struggled with chronic illness for a long time now. And the purpose of these animations is essentially to help her express to people what that's like, what it means to deal with chronic illness and constantly feel like you are fighting for your life. So the reason I'm posting these now is because in the past year I made these in March, but in the last few months her condition has gotten worse and she's been in and out of the hospital and really just has not had the ability to continue this project. So I wanted to go ahead and post these. Number one, just to go ahead and get the message out there so that if there is anyone who could benefit from a deeper understanding of what it's like to live with chronic illness, then that message is still coming through. And also, I'm posting this with the information for how you can donate to Carissa's medical fund. So if there's anyone who's watching this who would be at all interested in or willing to contribute to that, it means a lot because, like I said, she has been going through a nightmare these last few months, and every little bit helps. So, without further ado, this first animation or animatic is to illustrate what is called spoon theory. And this has become a little bit more popular in recent years, but it's essentially a way for people to understand why those with chronic illness can't always just do everything like a normal person, why it's so hard to function when you're also dealing with chronic illness. So we can think of the mental and emotional and physical energy that a person has like spoons. So somebody who has a lot of spoons in their drawer is not really going to care whether you use one spoon or 5 spoons or however many you need for the event that's happening or the meal that's being served. Whereas if somebody only has a few spoons, they're going to use those much more carefully. If you've only got 5 spoons in your drawer, you're going to think about, okay, how many spoons are clean right at this moment? And how many are available for this meal? What can I do with the resources that I have right now in terms of mental, emotional, physical energy? And when the spoons are gone, they're gone. You can't just pick up a dirty spoon and reuse it. You have to actually take the time to clean it off, which in the case of this mental, emotional, and physical energy means waiting and decompressing and giving yourself the space and the energy to start fresh, which isn't easy. So then these next 3 illustrations are essentially to give a more vivid picture of what it feels like day to day to have to make decisions so carefully and to have to reserve your energy and at the same time make all these tough choices and actually make progress toward recovery. So this first illustration is just showing how constant that feeling of just being overwhelmed can be. So thinking about, for instance, a game of dodgeball. If you get hit by one dodgeball, that's not a huge deal. That's the point of the game. It happens every once in a while. But if everyone is throwing their dodgeballs at one person, that person is never going to get a chance to throw back because they're either just constantly dodging dodgeballs or constantly being hit by dodgeballs. And that's what it can feel like living with a chronic condition, because you want to take action to actually make progress toward recovery, but it's hard to even focus on anything when all of these new challenges just keep hitting you in the face over and over and over and over again. Then this next illustration, this tightrope walker over a deep gorge, is showing just how carefully it feels like you have to make your decisions when you're in a battle like this that is a situation of life and death. So Charissa, for instance, always has to pay really close attention to the chemistry and what's in the air and all of the environmental factors that could trigger her condition. And it can feel like a balancing act where you just go on and on, constantly having to keep everything perfectly balanced, and one slip up could lead to dire consequences. And this last illustration is meant to show how it can feel to try to make progress against chronic illness. It's like climbing up a down escalator while carrying a load. You can make progress. You can take a few steps up the escalator, but you can't just make progress and then hold on to it, because the escalator is going down. You have to keep walking or it's going to drag you down with it. So there's this constant exhaustion of just having to keep walking in order to keep up with the escalator, then trying to make progress on top of that. And it's hard. So that's all the illustrations. Thank you for watching. Please keep Charissa in your prayers, and if you're feeling led to donate, please do so. The links will be in the description down below. And have a Merry Christmas.